So before we jump into today's news, I've got some updates for y'all. Just want to make sure I get everybody on board. We're shaking things up with a new experiment. Instead of my usual weekly dives into the news, I'm going to try to give you guys more of a daily dive into into one particular story at a time to kind of break things down. Now, why the change? Basically, I'm just trying to find out what works. I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm a little channel, so, just throwing things around, just trying to, throw things at the wall and see what sticks for real. So buckle up and join me on this journey as we navigate the news in a whole new way. But without further ado, let us continue. And that brings me to the latest that's been going on with the rap battle beef. What do we call it? I've heard it explained very succinctly, and I think I like the definition. Preach from I've been preached. He said that it's a rap battle because if it was beef, then it could turn into some other stuff. But it's just a battle, and generally when you're in a rap battle, even when you're battling with somebody right in front of you, you're always bringing out salacious stuff about the person to make them look less than. And so that's what this is that's what's taking place between Kendrick and Drake, where they were just attacking each other over this past weekend and just trying to make each other look less than. And I'll say that it's just been interesting watching it all play out on in real time, and just seeing how people are responding, and I'm team Drake and I'm team Kendrick and all this, and that the streets is with Kendrick, and anybody who with Drake, you industry and all this stuff, or if you with Kendrick, you on that lame, and you talking about you don't like the way he dressed. Man, did you see this video when he was wearing this? Man, he used to put his hands on blah blah blah, and Drake, and he's A1, he putting everybody on, so I get it. There's different factions and different camps all over the place. I will say personally, so here's my 7 cents, right? I never liked Drake. Now, respected him highly, respected him as an MC. He did his thing. He came onto the scene. He was holding court with Kanye, and I'm like, oh wow, he's up there with the gods. Hold on, what so when he did that, he was holding it down with Eminem. I was like, okay, he got some nice punch, got some great punch when he first came out. Faded off the brown, Nino, you know what I'm saying? Like I thought, I was like, the way that he said that when he came in with that was a whole different way of doing metaphor. So with that, I'll give him all his props in the world. But one thing I'll say that came out in the midst of all of this between the two of them, because obviously J. Cole, who's probably the one who really won the entire battle, because he said, I'm out, I don't want no parts of this. Probably a smart move. But one thing that separates Drake from a J. Cole is the fact that even though they're both mixed, only one of them is black. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's kind of how it seems. Like I said, I never liked Drake, and that's not because he's mixed. Because as many mixed people as I got in my family, I'd be a weirdo for saying something like I don't like mixed people. So it's not like that, and I'm not saying that anybody who's mixed is less than. I'm not saying that either. I am saying, however, that I just don't like him. I just never liked him. I just never, I don't know. There's just something about him I never liked. And now that, all this stuff is coming out, I'm just like, yeah. I think other people are starting to see why they don't like him as much as they think they did either. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. But I'll say, when it comes to this whole conversation of who's the king of hip hop and all this stuff, who's the big person? For me, this is just my opinion. This is just my 7 cents. Y'all come in. It's just us talking, right? Just get a little closer. Okay. All right, cool. Back up. You're too close. Thank you. Cool. So, while I can say that I respect Drake, his accolades, his rhymes, his rhyme capabilities, his metaphors, his entendres, his delivery, his flow, some of his singing. Like I can say I respect a lot of that. At no point would I ever put him as the king of hip hop. I would not. I wouldn't. I can't put somebody who is adjacent to the thing, even though if they grew up with the thing. I can't say that they are the thing. They can be the leader of the thing. Let's put this into context, right? Let's say that somebody is from China. Somebody is from China, and they move, or they move. He and his wife move to Nigeria, and so their child grows up to be Nigerian, can speak Yoruba, Igbo, can speak all of the different tongues, dialects, and all that. Can speak all of the languages within the land, and can holler at the ladies, and get some draws. You know what I'm saying? Can talk the slang, can talk with the people, educated, all that stuff. So in his heart, he feels like he is Nigerian, even though he looks Chinese, right? So he feels he's Nigerian. People around him say, he's Nigerian, he's Niger. You know what I'm saying? He's one of us, right? They'll say that. Okay. Would those people ever vote for him as president of their country? Do you think that would happen? And I'm not trying to make this a racial thing, but I'm saying, and this ain't nearly as much of a racial thing as it is cultural. And I know it. I don't want to hear from my Nigerian friends and all talking about how Black Americans don't have culture. We have culture. We definitely have culture. We just have a tendency to be really bad at securing it and being gatekeepers to who we allow in and how far we let them into the room. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of our issue. But I want to make sure that this is that it's known. What I'm trying to say is this is more cultural than it is racial, because again, J. Cole's mix and Drake mix, but J. Cole, I mean, the streets feel J. Cole a lot more than they feel Drake. That's just facts. Now you take that as far as you want to go with it, you know what I'm saying, start going down the racial line, but I'm looking at it culturally. When J. Cole came in the game, he was sounding like a hip hopper. He was sounding like a backpacker. He was, you know what I'm saying, like he's always had that, you know what I'm saying, the man made a song called I Let Nas Down. You know what I'm saying? So he's already like in the vein, like, you know, and Nas isn't like the king of hip hop, but he's a lot of people's champ when it comes to hip hop. You see what I'm saying? And obviously to an extent or to whatever degree, he was Cole's hero as well, which is why he felt the need to make the song saying how he felt like he let Nas down. You see what I'm saying? So it just further lends to the credence of, yes, we do have culture. Hip hop is our culture. It's our culture. And I'm thinking that this beef, if nothing else, was quite telling of quite a few things in a myriad of ways. Eminem is a prime example. Eminem has flow, skills, ability, you know what I'm saying, punchlines, although he really ain't did none of this radio worthy in maybe the past 15 years, if that. You know what I'm saying? But lyrically, you can't really deny him in it. I think like in his latter years, he's been more of a, you know, Guinness Book of World Records type of rapper more than, you know, a content and putting out actual, you know, flows and, you know, stuff people want to look at and examine type of rapper. He's a rapper for white people nowadays. And that's fine. You know, it's cool. Black people don't really mess with Eminem like that. And that's fine. I guess he goes for the bigger audience. Whatever. But even with all his accolades and ability and all that stuff, I don't think there was a time, like, because I used to be a huge Eminem fan. Not now, but used to be a huge Eminem fan. There was no point at which I would be like, he's the king of hip hop. And I put Eminem way above Drake, without question. And I wouldn't make Eminem the king of hip hop. I just wouldn't. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. Now I get it. Sure, there are, you know, exceptions to the rules. Sometimes a king had a thing with a chick from another country, and he didn't have any other heirs. So that's the only heir from that other country. So even though he's mixed race, he's still the king's bloodline. So he still has right to the throne. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's all that kind of goofy stuff that you can get, you know, add in if you're trying to be right. But I'm saying, if you just look at the scenario as I stated it, that's kind of how I see hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I see hip hop the same way. It's a country that was created by black people. It was created by black people out of certain circumstances and situations that As a matter of fact, with everything that's coming out now, we're starting to see more and more that some of the people that we've allowed into the confines of our friendly domicile don't even understand the rules of the place that they're in. And that's how we got people like a Post Malone, who sounds hip hop, does hip hop stuff, and then says that he don't even care about the foundations of it. And now he's singing the national anthem, playing guitar. You know what I'm saying? People like Tekashi 6ix9ine and all that he did, and you know what I'm saying, and Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe, and telling people that like hip hop came from the Caribbean and came from Puerto Rico. Like, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all even talking about? That's not the foundation. Like, understand. Like, listen, absolutely. We all have our corners and spaces within the hip hop space. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Eazy-E was like talking about how Grandmaster Flash and all that was kicking it, you know what I'm saying, and how they really put it down for the, maybe he did, because Eazy-E seemed like a real one, but he also seemed like he was about his money, and he wasn't really like about hip hop. He was about making money. So hip hop was just a way to do that. You know what I'm saying? But to that end, there are people, I don't think like the West Coast, you know, when the East Coast, West Coast beef was real thick, I don't think that at that time that, you know, both factions were saying, but let's give it up for the Sugar Hill Gang. You know what I'm saying? I don't think either side was really feeling it like that. However, I think because of the proximity and, you know, in actual locality, I think that the East Coast rappers just knew, because they're like, well, yeah, it's just part of our culture. You know what I'm saying? It's part of what we already grew up with and what we already know in our area, in our space. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think people who did it on the West Coast did it as a disrespect to the culture. As a matter of fact, I felt like when they started bringing, coming in and coming up, a lot of those hip hop groups out there, I thought they were taking the mantle from some of the people on the East Coast, because East Coast had it for so long. So that's not to say that this thing is, you know, only one faction and there's only one way that you're supposed to do hip hop or anything like that. Not at all. However, I do think both sides, East Coast, West Coast, Dirty South, Midwest, Chicago, I think we all understand that there is a certain air and background to hip hop, or at least there was. The stuff that's out on the radio, I don't listen to anything on the radio in nowadays. Now I'm obviously showing my grades, but I'm just saying, I do not listen to any hip hop on the radio. For what? No, if I don't have it streaming, or if I don't have a CD, yes, I still got CDs. If I don't have a CD, yeah, I'm probably not gonna hear it. You know what I'm saying? Or if somebody didn't forward it to me, like, don't get me wrong, there are some artists who put recent stuff out that I'm still rolling with. So it's not like I'm still only listening to 90s hip hop and, you know what I'm saying, reminiscing on the glory days. Not at all. I just think a lot of the people that are being promoted and pushed as the premier people, listen to all my alliterations off the dome. but these people are being pushed as the premier people in these positions. I think this is once again one of those things where somebody was let into the room and they asked, "Oh, what? No, nobody's really checking ID up in here. Hey, I'm the king. I'm the king in here. No. Y'all said wasn't nobody really claiming spots or nothing. So I'm gonna claim a spot and I'm gonna call myself the king. I'm the king." And I think as the king started bringing other people in, like, hey, come in. Y'all can come in. The king was letting people in, and I don't know who this proverbial person was. This is all just made up stuff. But I'm just saying, as the king let people in, then he let in people who were going to be his yes men, who were going to listen to him. Whereas we, in the room already, we were like, well, we were just letting in you because we thought you had good flow and you respected the culture and you knew what you was coming into. But now he's in, he's like, yeah, but now I got all these other people. Y'all can't tell me nothing. I can do whatever I want. And, well, Drake, what do you have to say for yourself? I would play some of his music. Or I would play some of either side's music, but I ain't trying to get no copyright strike. I just started this channel here. I don't want no problems like that. Go on somewhere. But we can go over some of the themes that were covered in some of the songs that did come out. Let's dive in. So first it all kicked off from Kendrick with that song Like That, which was with him, Future, and Metro Boomin, right? And that was the one where he said, after Big Three, man, it's just big me, right? Into Drake doing the song Push Ups, where Drake was talking about how basically you gotta work. You're the deal that you got, half the money that you're making goes to your label, and you're not even working for yourself. You got to work for the man, but do them push-ups, right? Which is weird because Drake got almost the same damn deal on his side. So stuff like that always just sounds stupid to me, right? Then Drake pulled out the Tailor-Made freestyle, talking about how Kendrick only does these songs with like Taylor Swift and all that stuff, right? Which is weird because like Drake did a whole commercial where he was lip syncing the words to a Taylor Swift song that was a Taylor Swift song that Kendrick Lamar was on. So he was it's like, what are you doing, right? Then okay, so that happened, right? So that was some days passed. It was like 17 days, something like that passed. Everybody's like, ooh, Drake got it. And if Kendrick Lamar come out now, it's gonna be too late. Oh, then Kendrick Lamar came out with Euphoria, killing. Then he came out with 616, killing. Then he came out with Family Matters. I'm sorry, no, Drake came out with Family Matters after that. And that was when it started seeming like there was leaks in the camps from either side and all that stuff. And who cares? But then like right after that, Kendrick hit him with Meet the Grams, talking about in it where he was talking about Drake's family and maybe his family situations allegedly. Who knows? But then to me, Kendrick knocked it out the park with Not Like Us. And I'll say, like, so again, I've been kind of tiptoeing around this in this whole thing about maybe this being like on the verge of some racial stuff. And I don't mean it in a sense of like, again, I'm not trying to invalidate mixed people or mixed race people in any sense, because they do have a valid position, point, and all that stuff. The problem comes when a mixed person cosplays what they are depending on the group that they're with at that time. So that's what it tends to be when you see one Aubrey Graham, aka Drake. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it's coming out to. And as a result, it's like a lot of people it seems like, because if you go to Twitter, you go to Instagram, you go to TikTok, you'll see where it seems like a lot of people who were Drake fans are like snapping out of it, like, whoa, he is doing a lot of crazy stuff. He is doing a lot of stuff that could be on the brink of pedophilia. Anyway, he could be doing all kinds of stuff out there like that. And I'm starting to realize, oh crap, I don't want to align with somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly think it's a good thing that this is happening, this is coming out. And that, and if nothing else, I love the artistry from both camps. Now I will say, and again, going back, I'm sorry to be going back and forth, going to different places, but I have to say this last thing about this king of hip hop thing, right? When you are spitting your rhymes or whatever, the four elements of hip hop are very substantial. They've been there for the longest, right? I've only been part of one main part, and that was the freestyling, spitting part, right? But I'll say when it comes to rhyming, you are generally rhyming either things that you've written or things that you've thought of to say. Either way, you're saying your words. Drake most times is saying other people's words. Now, he's really good at saying other people's words, but he's saying other people's words. And then the stuff that we do get from him is some teeny bop that we see from Drake is some teeny bop, grooming R. Kelly Jr. type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not sure like what part of that is supposed to be hip hop. What part of that is the king of hip hop? What part of being a king of hip hop is battling against AI or battling against like he did when he freaking brought Tupac into his song. Like, Nick, sorry, brother, what are you doing? N-word, what are you doing? What are you doing? So am I battling against you? Am I battling against AI, or am I battling against the whole crew? Is it Quentin Miller? Who am I battling exactly when you're saying these things? So like, yeah, Drake can come back with a song this quick because he's got a team of writers who are just sitting there saying, a bunch of monkeys with typewriters sitting there like, I'm gonna poke out something eventually. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's got a team. None of that to me says hip hop. That says a corporate production, and that's fine. Do your corporate production shit, but don't try to do your corporate production and shit and then be like, and I'm also the king of hip hop. Nah, streets ain't feeling that. That's just all it is to it. Streets ain't feeling that. And the packaging is so much better. Look, he's so clean cut, and he's such a good guy. He's got a nice smile. Look at Drake. That's a good guy. He's a cool guy. Then you see somebody like Kendrick, you know what I'm saying? His people are from Chicago. He's small. He's short. He's from the hood, and really from the hood, like really plugged in the hood. You know what I mean? And that's a different dynamic. A lot of people get afraid, get intimidated by stuff like that. So they're like, hey, well, where's the British guy? Can we where's the British guy? Like, I'm reminded of the show Doogie Howser. Y'all remember the show Doogie Howser? Doogie Howser used to have this black dude on, this big black Magilla Gorilla looking dude who he reminded me of the dude of the monkey from Chuck E. Cheese. He reminded me of the monkey because he always had a relaxer in his head that never curled. Like, he had a relaxer in his head, but it like you could tell he put a relaxer in his head and was trying to do something else, but it didn't do it. So his head just was straight. It's like, but this thick, black person straight. It wasn't the same kind of straight that black folks know what I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? Like, that sort of stuff. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he was on the show, and he was supposed to be this thug dude, right? He was supposed to be this thug, but Doogie Howser took him under his wing. He took a liking to him and was like, I'm gonna give him a chance, and he could be an orderly here at the hospital where I'm a doctor as a 12-year-old. And it just it never grabbed me. It looked so completely insane because you had this guy, and I'm not saying that there aren't guys who talk like this, but here's this guy who's supposed to be this, he's a thug, and he talks like this, and this is the way he talks. So yeah, and his mannerisms weren't very thuggish, but he was supposed to be the thug on the show. So that's how Drake reminds me. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Again, he's the well-spoken other. The well-spoken other that talks right, that sounds right. And to the people who aren't even the gatekeepers, who are people who we let in, and all of a sudden they've just come in and claimed positions and spots, they're now claimed that they're the gatekeepers. So we're sitting looking at them like, well, who are you and why'd you let these people in? And with that said, this has been The Blackman Show. Thank you all for joining us once again. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like, hit the subscribe, and share this with your peeps. For updates and behind the scenes footage, you can follow me on all the socials. You know what they are. And if you want to support the channel, please feel free to check out our merch store. It's justthechannel.com. Now, until next time, I will do my best to keep y'all informed in the meantime, in between time. But until then, we'll see you in the next one. Peace. And I'm out.